sports.
Welcome to The Playbook, where we're talking sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and we're 100% digital, 100% live, and 100% real. Let's count them down. Welcome to The Playbook. It's our digital sports show. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. See, my mic is messing up and stuff today. So, as always, we talk sports. We do this every Monday at 1:45. I want to bring in my guy, senior sports and entertainment editor at These Urban Times, Terrell Thomas. Hey, T.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
I can't complain. You know, the mic got a mind of its own today. So I had to catch it before it ran away. So I'm doing a little old school. Go ahead.
It's a good day for the mic, too.
Right. I'm doing it a little old school today. I got my handwritten notes, so I'm going to read it like a real reporter. So I want to hop into Philly Takes. This is where we talk about all the top Philly stories. LeSean McCoy is a big story who has retired as an Eagle. I wish I had an applause button. Yay. After 12 years as a pro football player, LeSean McCoy, a.k.a. Shady, has decided to retire. On Friday, he signed a one-day contract with the Philadelphia Eagles so he can retire with the team that he played 6 years for. That's half of his career. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So obviously the Eagles have a special place in his heart. Let's watch one of his amazing runs.
It is second down and 10. Foles gives it off to McCoy. He's got running room. Steps over a man. He's at the 20. He's at the 15. 10, 5. Touchdown! Shady McCoy!
In the snow. In the snow. I would have dropped the ball. I mean, you watched LeSean McCoy. We all did. You know, what does this mean, especially his decision to really come back home and retire as an Eagle?
I think you hit it on the head in the beginning of the introduction with him being a Harrisburg kid. Placed about an hour and a half outside of Philadelphia. It's funny, that snow game, you know, I'm quite sure growing up he had a lot of snow games in the backyard of Harrisburg. I remember the excitement in which LeSean brought to the field. He also he fit into the culture very well as being a blue collar hard worker that I think Eagles fans will always appreciate. And you know, with everything that's going on in Philadelphia with Ben Simmons right now, it's good to have a number 25 in Philadelphia. You know, that people still have a lot of love for. So I got a lot of respect for Shady deciding to retire as an Eagle, and I could definitely see them retiring at number 25 at some point in the near future.
That's a good point. I didn't even make that correlation that they had the same number, especially considering all the drama that's going on with Ben, which we will get to. I actually interviewed LeSean a couple of times, you know, in my younger years. There we go. Baby Mina, a little spring chicken. I must have been maybe 25 there, 24.
Young in the game. In the game.
Look at that. Didn't even know how to do my makeup yet. I still don't know how to do my makeup. So shout out to Shady, man. Just an incredible career, and he's always going to have a special place in the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, legacy. He is the Eagles' all-time leading rusher with 6,792 yards. He made the Pro Bowl 6 times, earned 2 All-Pro nods. He has a total of 11,102 career rushing yards, and he is the third most ever for a player select. So he has the third most ever rushing yards for a player selected in the second round of the draft. So thank you, LeSean McCoy, for everything that you've done. They honored him this weekend at the game, and he definitely holds a special place in our heart. Now, speaking of number 25, Ben Simmons seems like he's been replaced in training camp. This drama continues. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation, a lot of he said. There was the report that said that Ben would not participate in anything Sixers related, and that actually has been true. He did not show up for media day this past week. He has not been to training camp. Now, Tyrese Maxey has been starting in his place at training camp. I like this, but it is training camp. We don't know if maybe they're trying to work on something in the back end, hoping Ben will come back. But if Ben decides to continue to be petty and does not return, do you really think that Tyrese Maxey will be in a position where he can start for the Philadelphia 76ers?
Yeah, and I also think the Sixers really don't have much of a choice if you look at their roster and what they're trying to do. It is very evident that Ben Simmons doesn't want to return and play in red, white, and blue for our Sixers. So they have to move on. And Maxey is that guy. You drafted him in a position to be a starter one day. So I think the time is now for Maxey. It's pretty much also though like the Sixers have no. What else can they do? Seth Curry's a phenomenal shooter, but he's not really a facilitator or a ball handler like Maxey. I think it could work well if Doc is able to draw up some great pick and roll situations for Maxey and Embiid. So yeah, I'm pretty confident in where they're going. Another year in, a great performance in the postseason. I think it'll be just great if they decide to go that route.
Yeah, I mean, I really agree. I think that Maxey showed us a lot of spunk and energy in the playoffs when we needed someone to come in and give us some energy and give us some quick baskets. He got it done, and he is a rookie. There is obviously going to be a learning curve there, and he's going to have to really step it up because he's playing with Joel Embiid, Danny Green, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris. These are seasoned players, and he's a rookie. So there's going to be a lot for him to prove, but I think that he is up for the task, and I think he has the energy for it, and the city really loves him. Like, he's been making different appearances around the city. They love him. We like him. We like his grit. We know that he's a rookie, and he's, in a sense, a rookie compared to these other guys, right? Mm-hmm. And he's starting off, but we feel good about where his energy is and his production level on the court when we need it. So again, to your point, if Doc Rivers can figure out how to draw up some plays and Maxey can really rise to the occasion and ball on the level that the other four counterparts on the court are balling, I think this is an incredible, backup plan for Ben not being on the court. Now, the one thing that has been going around is the fact that Tyrese Maxey is represented by Rich Paul, who is also Ben Simmons' agent. So it kind of creates, it seems like, a conflict of interest. There were rumors circulating that Rich Paul was so upset with the Sixers and how they've been dealing with Ben that he didn't want anybody that he represents to be in the organization, including Maxey. So the rumor is that there was going to be a trade involving Maxey and Ben. Now, Maxey recently came out and said, that's not true. There hasn't been any conversations about me being involved in the trade. Does this kind of create a conflict of interest here, T?
It's difficult, and I would imagine as an agent, personal feelings and things of that nature may get involved. From a business standpoint, though, I think, those are just tough situations where you have two different clients. Although one client is unhappy in a situation, you can't really force, still a professional business. So it could be very iffy, a very touchy situation. But I'm glad that Maxey came out and made comments. But even unfortunately, they're still beyond his control. He could say he doesn't want to be traded, that those aren't true. But if the brass above decides to trade him or move on from him, it is what it is. So,
yeah,
so many moving parts in everything that's going on right now. It's just like, definitely a soap opera that we're watching right in front of us.
I literally said that on air. This is a soap opera. There's pettiness, drama, backstabbing. Every day I'm Googling like Ben Simmons to see what the new drama is. Like, this is good. This is good. Okay. Now, we did mention that Ben has not been showing up for anything, and Joel Embiid has finally, in a press conference, told us what he thinks about that. Let's watch.
It is surprising, but I'm really focused on the guys that are here. The situation is weird, disappointing, borderline kind of disrespectful to all the guys that are out here, fighting for their lives.
So he said it. It's borderline disrespectful. And I agree. It's petty and out of control. And it's like we all have jobs, and we all work with people we don't like. And you show up every day. You show up, you contribute, you get paid way too much money, Ben Simmons, to not show up and contribute. even if you're not a fan of the people that you're playing with, that you're working with, or a fan of your managers. But it is a little surprising to see Joel come out and say this publicly. Do you think this is going to further damage the relationship there?
No, I think the ship is pretty much sailed. One of those kind of the damage is done things. I think Joel has been the ultimate professional throughout the offseason. And even up until now, and how he's described the entire situation and everything, I've definitely gained another level of respect for Joel Embiid and how he's handled the situation. But I think, from work-wise, I think that relationship is damaged and is done. Personally, I'm quite sure at some point down the road, they'll be able to speak on it, because I believe they have a pretty good relationship off the court. Not best friends or anything like that. But two gentlemen who have, led the franchise together, two all-stars, and just everything they've meant to the city together. I'm quite sure they'll speak, but no, that ship is sailed, and it's quite obvious, at this point.
But I will say, I always think about Shaq and Kobe when it comes to this situation. Notoriously, they hated each other, while they played on the court. And Phil Jackson had a hard time kind of maneuvering through that during those years. So this happens all the time, but you suck it up for the bigger goal. We're trying to win. We might not like each other, personally, but professionally, we can do great things together. And I think when you're mature enough to have that vision, you don't allow things to get this petty. You know what I'm saying? So there's also this thing that came out, report, where it said that Ben feels like his playing style doesn't match with Joel's, and that the Sixers organization built the team around him, around Joel. Joel recently said he disagrees, and that the team has actually been built around Ben. He said it was kind of surprising to me. I will say that even going back to the reason we signed Al, which is Al Horford, we got rid of Jimmy Butler, which I still think was a mistake, just to make sure Ben needed the ball in his hands. That's the decision they made. Like I said, it is surprising. So Joel is saying, no, this team hasn't been built around me. We've been making these moves in order to try to get you to be comfortable. And I just like that Joel is speaking up now. And it's not like this one-sided thing, because maybe Ben will now realize, oh, wait, maybe this team hasn't been geared all towards Joel, and I'm making a big deal out of something that's not there.
One thing I think is very, very clever, quickly I'll say, is that even with all the reports and rumors that we've heard, Ben Simmons has still said nothing. So that's something that I think we should still hold dear to. He said nothing publicly. So all these are, speculations and reports, and he say this person close to him. He still said nothing. So
I don't like that, though, because I feel like if you say it and it comes out of your mouth, I know it's you, right? Right now, we don't know what's real, what's not, and people are reacting to things that might not be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, that quote right there, Joel reacted to something, and maybe that wasn't even something that Ben said. So now he stirred the pot saying, oh, well, we made all these moves for you. Of course, this team hasn't been all about me. And same thing with Doc Rivers. He's had to respond to things where he's like, I've never said that. I think that in itself is making this even more messy. I think it would be a smoother process if people would just say what they think instead of putting rumors out into social media. Real quickly, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but let's take a look at the money that Ben is going to be losing now that he is not showing up. That's a lot. Look at these numbers, these figures. Ultimately, I'm a little blind, but what is that? $227,000 per game?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. So we'll see how far this goes. That is Philly Takes. Let's get to a word from one of our sponsors.
Stop overpaying for wireless. Switch to Boost Mobile and watch your bill drop. Plans starting at $10 a month that match your data needs. Think your phone company can get down like that? Get started for as low as $10 a month. All on America's largest 5G network for less. Boost Mobile.
Welcome back to the Playbook. It's our digital sports show. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. Terrell Thomas, senior sports and entertainment editor from These Urban Times, joining us. So let's get into high fashion. We all know that Drake loves basketball, and he's set up a lot of collaborations between his label OVO and the Raptors and the NBA as a whole. Recently, they've actually released these jackets. So they're OVO NBA jackets featuring some legendary basketball franchises. A little disappointed the Sixers are not up there. But this is who I guess Drake and OVO feels is legendary, a legendary team. He also used some rappers to model the clothing. Here's the Chicago Bulls, that's Chief Keef, repping his city. And then for the Knicks, Bobby Shmurda, taking a couple of pictures there. Now, Drake has also been collaborating with the Raptors. Remember, when they won the championship, he sent them all their custom jackets, OVO Raptors custom jackets. Do you remember that? He was a part of the celebration and everything. And they've actually launched an OVO Athletic Center. Watch this.
To bring new ideas is what this partnership has always been about. We were all thinking of different ways to find something new to do. Something creative, something that puts him more intertwined with our team and what we do. Drake is such an incredible person, business mind.
I remember when people didn't understand it. I remember when it was just some like left field long shot thing. You know, all the work we've done together to build this brand.
The OVO Athletic Center was such an incredible idea. There's so many ways that he's going to interact with us, the fans, and moving on to many other new things. This is the key to the OVO Athletic Center.
Oh my goodness.
I think this is a space that we're going to create that's going to be very unique in the league.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hats off to Drake. I mean, sometimes he was damn near on the court trying to shoot with everybody else. But we understand his vision of trying to fuse music and sports. And that's kind of what we do here on the show as well. So definitely salute Drake. That is fire, everything that he's doing. Okay. Let's get into what's trending. This was big news last week. The Super Bowl halftime show, the first Super Bowl in Los Angeles this century, will feature a star-studded halftime show. Look at this. Pepsi and NFL and Rock Nation announced Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige will be performing at the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California on February 13th. These 5 artists combined have 43 Grammys. All right. They created 22 #1 Billboard albums. And you know that Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, them alone mean so much for the West Coast. And given that this is happening in Inglewood, California, this is a big deal for West Coast music, West Coast hip hop, and West Coast rap. This is incredible. We know that Jay-Z and Rock Nation put this all together. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's dope, especially with it being in Inglewood, right in Dr. Dre's backyard. Great to see that Dre's going to get to extend his California love and show the world just the flavor that the West Coast has. And then Mary J. Blige, you know, being added on to that, you know, the queen of hip hop and soul. So overall, I think it'll be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to see what tricks each individual may have up their sleeve if they decide to bring any artists out or anything like that. The stadium is phenomenal from everything that I've heard. SoFi Stadium, billions of dollars out there in Inglewood. So I think it'll be an amazing time, and for sure, it'll be an amazing show.
You know what? I'm almost interested to see how they're going to merge all these artists and all their hits. Because think about all the hits that they have combined. And then they just threw on Eminem for the white people. Like, it was like they had to merge everything together. And I just want to know how this is going to turn out. I will say, when I saw Dr. Dre and Eminem together on the same stage, I immediately thought of 50 Cent. Because, you know, Eminem was signed to Dr. Dre, and then 50 was signed to Eminem under that Interscope label, you know. Now, Dr. Dre and 50 Cent have had their falling outs and their things in the past, but I really felt like 50 would be needed on that stage, given the legacy of Dr. Dre and Eminem, but I don't know how you were going to make all that fit. So we'll definitely see what happens there. Let's get into some water cooler talk. There's a lot of conversation about COVID and the NBA. We were having these conversations before with the NFL season, but now that basketball is starting back up, there is a debate regarding the COVID-19 vaccine and the NBA. So the NBA league is not requiring players to be vaccinated, unlike the NFL, where the NFL is requiring the players to be vaccinated. But there's going to be stricter protocols for the players who are not vaccinated. So players that are not vaccinated will miss more time. And we know that as a result, they're going to put their team's success in jeopardy. Now, Kyrie Irving has been kind of in the forefront of this. He was asked about his vaccination status, and he said, "Please respect my privacy. Next question." So this opened up a can of worms because he joined Media Day via Zoom, like virtually. So in New York City, especially the entire borough of Brooklyn, they're requiring Nets players to have at least one dose of the vaccine to even enter the arena or the practice facility. So the fact that he was joining the Media Day virtually kind of set off some flags. Now, the only way that you can get around this is by having a religious or medical reason. Okay. Now, reports are saying that Kyrie's not vaccinated, but we don't know what's going on there. But now there's this conversation about vaccination in the NBA. Is it okay for players to choose not to get the vaccine and then possibly jeopardize the success of their team?
You know, me personally, I think all the vaccination conversation in sports is different. Because for so many years, it has been funny, you know, different laws about injuries and athletes' health and everything like that. And then since the COVID vaccine has been available, those laws and protocols have just kind of been dropped. Then we're hearing about if this person or that person is or not vaccinated. I personally feel like that's each individual's decision because it will affect each individual's body differently. So I don't really, you know, the whole hoopla of go get vaccinated for a championship to me is kind of asinine. I mean, it really is. You know, if you're a gentleman, you go get vaccinated and you have some type of health concern where you can't play or shoot, you can't walk again, and then you went and took one for the team, literally. So I think it's a touchy situation. I do feel like people should individually, if they want to take the vaccine, you know, I think that's wonderful. They should have the opportunity to take it if it's available to them. I think if they don't want to take the vaccine, they should be able to do that as well. I would hope that they still find some type of way to stay healthy and, you know, to stay as safe as possible. But me personally, I think all the conversation about who has it and who doesn't have it as far as vaccinations are concerned has gotten to be a bit outrageous.
LeBron actually came out recently and said he got vaccinated. I just think this is what's happening all over the country, all over the, you know, our world. I mean, there's literally people that are losing their jobs in the medical field, in the airlines field, because those companies are requiring them to get the vaccine and they don't want to get it. At the end of the day, it is your personal choice. It is your body. I will never sit here and tell someone to get a vaccine or not. I'm fully vaccinated. So, but I have respect for other people. I don't know what's going on with their health in their lives, you know, so I would never say that, but I will say that then you have to make a hard choice, right? Do you want to continue to work for these companies, especially someone like Kyrie who's making a lot of money? You know, these are the choices that you have to make in your life. And this is just where we are as a country, as a culture. So people do have the right to make their own decision, but just understand that someone doesn't have to employ you and you will not continue to get paid if the company requires something else that will make other people feel safe about being around you or help us move towards a place where we're a little bit back to normal or whatever normal is going to be if we ever get back there. But this is a complicated situation. Everybody has their own opinions on it. Shaq even came out and said that if he was playing, you know, he would want Kyrie out. He said he would demand that Kyrie be traded if he was on that team. He said, I would go upstairs and say, get him up out of here. We can win with a 2-punch and a great shooter and some rebounders like we've got. Get his ass up out of here. Now, every day I'm going to have to answer questions about him and what he's doing. Get his ass up out of here. Some people feel that way. I think I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also say something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that who I saw?
Yeah, he felt the same way that players need to go ahead and get vaccinated or not play.
Right. I mean, there's certain sacrifices that you have to make sometimes when you make that much money. I'm not saying sacrifice your body and get a vaccine, but these are the hard choices that you got to make. Hey, if you don't want to do this, you don't need to get the check either. Period. Go work somewhere else. We're saying like these are the choices, So that is the playbook. Thank you for watching. We do this every Monday at 1:45. T, do you want to plug anything?
It's been a beautiful day. We'll see what our Eagles are looking like, as we move on to week 5. Peace and blessings, everybody. Make sure you log on to These Urban Times. That's
right. And look, he be on it. Look, you're like the shade room of sports. It's like it happens. And I'm like, I just saw this tweet. How do y'all have it up already? Do you sleep? Like
No. We just trying to keep the information going. That's all.
I see. I will talk to you and talk to you guys, and we'll do this again next Monday, 1:45. It's the Playbook, our digital sports show. Talk to you next week. Thanks for watching The Playbook. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and you got something you want to talk about next week? You can always hit me up on social media at Mina SayWhat, and make sure you join us 1:45 next Monday on R&B Philly's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll see you then.